Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but still can't escape that voice telling you you're failing? This week, I almost let that voice win. It's week 14 of my carnivore journey, and instead of celebrating weight loss, I'm facing weight gain and dealing with doubts so big they nearly made me quit. But I'm here, sharing my honest struggle with you because I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. Hey, I'm Susan, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm all about becoming unstoppable in every area of my life: health, faith, finances. But let's be real, this week I felt anything but unstoppable. I started feeling like an imposter, questioning how can I encourage others when I'm struggling myself? But that's exactly why I'm sharing this with you. My goal isn't to be perfect, it's to be real and hopefully encourage you by showing that even in tough times, we keep going. For those of you following my carnivore journey, thank you for being here. Today's video is for anyone feeling discouraged or like you're just stuck. Let's work through this together. So point number 1, dealing with weight gain and imposter syndrome. This week hit hard. When I saw that scale move up instead of going down, especially after 2 weeks with no weight loss, I'd been hopeful for a change, but instead I gained. And honestly, I felt like a fraud. Here I am sharing my journey, talking about this awesome progress I've had, and here I am facing setbacks myself. I found myself wondering, how can I possibly be of any help to others when I'm struggling? But here's the truth. I'm learning it's okay to be vulnerable and show the messy parts of the journey. I think that's something a lot of us need to hear, especially when we feel like we have to have it all together. This journey isn't about being perfect. It's understanding you're going to face doubt and learning how to move through it in spite of it. I hit a point this week where I thought, just based on some feedback, maybe a few carbs would just give my body the boost it needs. So I tried it. A couple of bites of banana, a couple of small slices of sourdough, a bit of white rice, not all at once, but enough to disrupt things, I thought. And the weight gain was the result. Not just that, but I felt defeated, like I'd fallen for a temptation that pulled me off course. In sharing with a friend, they brought up the story of Adam and Eve, right? It just took one bite to completely derail them. So for me, it's a reminder in those moments of doubt and temptation, they don't come from God. He's not placing obstacles to see us fail. These moments are just tests that remind us to keep the faith and stay on the path, even when it's hard. One thing I want to make sure that I get across is, even though I felt guilt and I felt defeated by giving into the temptations, it wasn't actually that I was craving these things. I legitimately thought maybe I need these things to kickstart my metabolism, right? So I don't want the message to be that you can't experiment to see what works for your body and what doesn't. Just like I did with my giving up coffee and dairy and cheese and stuff for a week. Now, was that week long enough to really get the true results? Absolutely not. But I did prove that I could go without those things. I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to encourage you to stick to the diet, even when you're not seeing the progress. But keep in mind that it's okay to experiment. The carnivore diet is really an elimination diet. It's about giving your body a chance to heal and then slowly incorporating foods back into your diet to see what your body can actually tolerate and what it can't. So, just something to keep in mind. I don't want you to think that just because you stray off course that you're bad and wrong. It's just what you did, and realize that it's a choice you made in the moment and that you have power over it. You're the one that made the choice. You weren't a victim of it. So I feel like that's really a powerful lesson for all of us to remember. So to add to the mix, I decided to start my weight training. But like with all things, I went way too hard. By the next day, I could barely move. I was struggling to even sit down on the toilet or stand up without feeling like my legs were going to give out. It took me completely out of the game and set me back even more. So here's my advice to anyone adding exercise to their routine. Start slow. I've learned that one day of overdoing it isn't worth days of feeling sore and unable to move forward. Progress is about consistency, not intensity all at once. It's a very painful lesson to learn. Now, the voice of doubt. I've been battling these voices of doubt. Those thoughts like, you're not making progress or you're not good enough. But as 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds us, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. These voices that try to tear us down, they're just distractions, not truths. God's voice reminds us of our strength and our purpose. And even when we feel unsure, we have to trust that our purpose is stronger than these doubts. So let's review the tips that I hope you take away from this video and my experimenting this week. Number 1, it's okay to feel discouraged. There's absolutely no shame in having doubts. Sometimes just sharing them, like I'm doing now, helps us release the pressure to be perfect, something I struggle with. Number 2, start new things slowly. When adding something new to your routine, especially for me, it's tempting to go all in, but real growth happens over time. You got to ease into it. Number 3, recognize that doubt is not from God. Remember that the voices that discourage us aren't His voice. Staying grounded in faith and purpose helps us move forward, even when the path is rough. So all of this brings me to the upcoming Unstoppable Challenge that I'm starting on November 1st. Yes, I've been feeling this imposter syndrome, but that's exactly why I need this challenge. And I think it's why you might need it too. We'll work together, commit to our goals, and push through these voices of doubt. If you're interested in joining, drop interested down in the comments, and I'll make sure to get you the information. So if you're ready to keep moving forward, even when things aren't perfect and that voice of doubt is screaming, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Let's stay on this path to becoming unstoppable together. And if you want to see where my carnivore journey began, check out my first video and every video in the series. And remember, this journey isn't just about changing our food. It's about becoming the best versions of ourselves and becoming unstoppable.